I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My parents answered God's call for missions literally right after I was born. My first 2 years of my life were my parents going through the missionary training. Then I was 3 years old when we moved to Papua New Guinea. Probably like a lot of just kids that grow up in a Christian home. I was a pretty good kid, but apathetic and kind of just going through the motions. You're swimming in the rivers, you're climbing mountains, going down waterfalls, loved riding dirt bikes. I believe I was genuinely converted, came to Christ around the age of 5, but I'd never been baptized. And so it was my junior year that I got serious. And it's like, I want to live for Christ. And then my senior year was this huge trial. I'm in the boarding school. My parents, they're driving to the coast and they're in a terrible car accident.
Oh, wow.
And my mom was killed instantly. My dad was fine the day of the accident. I'm just like, yeah, goodbye. I'll see you in a couple of days type of thing. And then that night I find out she's gone. So that really stretched my faith and like, God, I don't get this. My parents have sacrificed to serve you. I'm trying to serve you. I'm trying to be serious and about my walk with you. And now all this has happened. And then, believe it or not, it actually got worse. Accident happened by another vehicle coming the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
And that vehicle was driven by a government official. Everywhere you have corruption. My dad went back to where everything happened to file the reports. They arrested him and charged him for manslaughter. I'm watching my dad on trial, and just bitterness just started welling up. God, I don't understand what you're doing. And I remember thinking, after I graduate from high school, I'm going to leave this place and I never want to come back again. The judge was a man of integrity. So he threw the case out of court and my dad was set free. So shortly after that happens, I'm done. I assume my dad is done. And I have this conversation that I'll never forget. I just assumed we're all going back to the States. We're done. And my dad said, no, you go back to go to college, but I'm going to stay because God's calling on my life hasn't changed. Like, what do you mean? I'd heard about walking by faith. Through this trial, I'm watching my dad show me how to actually walk and live that way. So that was just a huge critical point spiritually for me in my walk with the Lord.
So you go to college. Where did you go to college?
So my undergrad, I went to Pensacola Christian College.
Oh.
I had a couple other MK friends that went to Pensacola graduation. It's pretty emotional because the likelihood of seeing each other again is hard. After I graduated, I majored in business and computers. I had a heart for missions. And like every missions conference, I'd go forward, but I didn't know, is God really calling me into missions, or is that the only thing that I know because of growing up in 87? Computers were just blowing up. I thought, okay, I'm going to focus on computers and business and however God uses it. So then after I graduated, I got a job here in Greenville, South Carolina. One guy that I knew from Pennsylvania, which is where I was originally from, went to BJ, was here in the area, and we became roommates, shared an apartment, and he went to Morningside Baptist Church. So I started going to Morningside, and I loved the missions emphasis there. And they had a thriving young adult career group, and that's where I met my wife, Shawn. So my company sold a software package for small to medium-sized distributors. I was a programmer that did those customized things, and I really enjoyed it. I was working for different companies. I learned all different kinds of businesses through working with the guys and modifying their software forms.
What was the next stage of life then? Because you end up on the field again.
Right.
How did that happen?
So Shawn and I met. We dated for about a year and a half. Got married. From the time we were dating, we talked about missions and just prayed honestly about it. And I didn't want to put a ton of pressure on her. Then a year after we were married, we did a survey trip to New Guinea. We visited in different areas with different mission agencies. And we're just praying, God, if you want us here, show us where and what capacity and what do you want us to do. That's when we heard the Simbai story for the first time. Even though I'd grown up there, I knew nothing about this people.
Okay.
The gospel had gone in through one of their men who had gone to the coast, heard the gospel, come back.
Wow.
And I'm not sure that he was ever a true believer. And that's another discussion. People are believing, and I believe there was genuine
Wow.
conversions, and they knew they needed help. So they elected two guys who hiked for 2 days that found a Baptist missionary in another area. And they're like, we've heard this gospel message. We believe, but we need somebody to come teach it. The missionary was like, wow, I'd love to help, but he had his full ministry. On the long flight across the Pacific coming back, my wife, Sean, and I, are just talking about this, and we were both 100% convinced that the Holy Spirit wanted us to go into Simbai. We got back, remember meeting with our pastor in his office, and I got maps, I got pictures. We were just so excited because it was like, okay, now the Lord is making clear. So we served in Simbai from 2000 to 2010. And then we've been back here in the States in my role as director of Open Door for the past 15 years. And then a lot of that time, I also served as the missions pastor at Morningside.
Okay.
So there was like the 90s of working, serving in the church, survey, 2000 to 2010, Papua New Guinea, last 15 years here in the States.
Hey there, it's Sven. There's so much more to Pastor Dave's story that I had to cut out to get it down to 7 minutes. It's so cool, the stories he tells about his time there in Simbai. Hope you check out the full episode everywhere where podcasts are found, including YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.